Hi, welcome back to the Wittiots podcast. We are here at the Point Park Center for Media Innovation because, what's new? What's going on, you guys?
We're doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well.
This is a big week for the Wittiots podcast because we have our very first guest.
What's his name, guys?
It's the
Elijah King.
Oh man,
The man.
What is up, Elijah?
And hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Elijah is a friend of ours from high school who we all we bonded with each other during shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. We only went to school together for like 9 months.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
It's crazy.
That is actually kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only known Darian. I met him when I met you.
Right.
Lovesick.
Yep.
So
That's crazy.
God,
Lovesick triggered. That was a fun year.
It was an amazing year. Like we were talking, I think last night. Like looking back on all the videos we took that year, it was it was insane.
Like that was probably peak. I would say.
Yeah. That was my favorite.
We all peaked in high school.
Yeah. It's all been downhill from there.
Oh, definitely, man.
I mean, I thought for me personally, like that whole that year and at least that span of like 9 months was the most fun I had in high school.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
by far.
That and my freshman year was a really similar situation at Robinson before everyone left and we got a new director. But it was very nostalgic. It was cool to have another environment like that senior year.
Oh, yeah.
So
school. We went to Fairfax High School. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah. Nova. No,
To our thousands of international listeners.
Mm-hmm.
We've had 5 listens from outside of the country, apparently.
Really?
So
Nice.
shout out to all the 1 or 2 people that don't listen in the U.S.
Well, wait, wasn't your dad overseas for a little bit?
Not recently, no.
Not recently?
No.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
All right, so Elijah, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I mean, our viewers don't know you. So
I'm a sophomore musical theater major at the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music. It is a long name, and we just call it CCM.
Is that for Cincinnati Conservatory or College Conservatory?
Honestly, either. But on like our directories and stuff, like at school, it'll just say CCM for College Conservatory of Music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a school of business or.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have a minor in emergency medical service, so I'm nationally licensed EMT, and I work in an ambulance.
Oh, you're
on the
nationally
weekends.
licensed.
Yeah.
I thought it was just for Ohio.
No, I'm Ohio, Virginia, and nationally.
Wow.
So
yeah.
nationally.
So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but then some states don't allow you to be nationally, like Ohio.
Oh,
Or
so you
they ask you to get state certified, so I had to get reciprocity.
So are there like different requirements, or is it just the same
Yeah,
thing?
I had to do intermediate airway. It's almost like intubating patients in Ohio, but I'm actually not allowed to do that in Virginia. So just like
Interesting.
random. Yeah, it just depends on the state.
What made you decide to do that?
I wanted to be kind of something similar to what Mitchell's dad was, like a military medic or just in the military. And then I at one point in my life was thinking of being a nurse in an emergency room because I liked the idea of that. But then when I got really into theater, I decided to major in that instead. But freshman year of college, I didn't want to wait tables. I knew that I didn't want to do that as a day job. So I was like, how can I combine these 2 careers together? So I just got a minor in it. And now I work in an ambulance on weekends, and I'm hoping to work for the fire department in New York when I move. Because you don't have to be a firefighter. You can just be an EMT, and
That's
Nice.
cool.
wouldn't have to do dangerous things.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know when you were learning the material and training to be an EMT, at least in Virginia, my dad loaned you some books.
Yeah, he did. He gave me the textbook that we had to use and the workbook, which ended up saving me like hundreds of dollars. I think it was
Really?
like over
That's
$200 or something like
Jeez.
that. He was like, "Here you go." Like he didn't ask me to give them back, or he let me keep them.
Oh, you
and-
still have them?
Yeah, and I still reference them a lot because
Oh, wow.
What a guy.
there's just such like a vast amount of things, and and I thanked him. He's like, that was awesome. Textbooks are expensive, man.
Mhm.
Anywhere you go, school
Right.
textbooks are.
I have not bought a single textbook. I've gotten PDFs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Nice.
search enough, you can find them.
Yeah,
for
you
free.
can. Yeah.
That's fair.
And I usually read.
Not that we
mine and stuff
endorse
like
that or anything.
Yeah.
What are
Point
endorsements? We
Park.
don't have those.
Squarespace.
Yeah, still waiting to hear back from them.
Anyway.
Anyways,
Yikes.
so tell us a little more about your major. You know,
Yeah.
what is it specifically you're kind of focused in on, and
So-
where do you want to go with it?
So our school specifically is conservatory style training, and so we basically just do musical theater like all day, every day.
Is conservatory like a broad term for just musical theater, or is like conservatory a specific type of musical theater?
It means the conservatory is like, it's the style of training that you get.
Okay.
So another school I was looking at was Penn State, but they're like a big university. So I would also have a lot of academic classes. We would have other requirements that don't have to do with musical theater. But since I go to a conservatory, it's like, I think I had 2 semesters of English.
Oh wow!
Oh, okay.
And like a couple diversity classes, which were like, not
why did
real.
you put diversity in air quotes?
Because it's like class like Harry Potter and like it's not actual diversity.
Darren just kind of
no, not on diversity, on the classes themselves, because they're not good classes.
Okay.
I take all mine online. I'm taking human sex and health right now.
My favorite.
Which is a bizarre class. Anyway, so our style of training is it's singing, dancing, and acting, and then we have a lot of master classes where people will come and help guide us in the actual business, so we learn about that side of it. And that's pretty much it. We have all different kinds of voice classes and all different kinds of dance and acting for the camera and all that kind of stuff. So they try and help us be as versatile as possible so we can audition for as many different types of acting and theater and stuff like that.
Okay.
So for what I wanted, it was like right up my alley. It was the exact type of training that I was going for.
So are you looking for on-screen stuff, or are you looking for like
Honestly,
stage stuff?
Most of our training is stage stuff, but since I did some on-camera stuff in high school, that was really the first like professional experience I had.
You had auditioned for Stranger Things, didn't you?
Yeah. I was in callbacks for Jonathan.
Really?
Which was like weird, but
which I definitely would have seen you more as what's his name now?
The Joe guy, like the fun,
Joe. Yeah.
I know, right? I did not. It was weird. I got cut in the first round of callbacks, but it was a really cool experience.
What was that like?
It was nerve-wracking because up until then I would only do real small stuff in DC, and then my agent emailed me and was like, "Hey, we submitted your headshot to a Netflix project called Montauk," which was what it was called at the time.
Code name or something, yeah.
It was weird.
Because I think they're in like Montauk County or something like that.
Something like that. And they gave the description, and I actually still have the audition sides. I could show you guys maybe off air if you want, but they're like really from the show, which is cool.
That's crazy.
And,
is it stuff that they actually ended up using in the show, or is it stuff that they didn't end up releasing?
No, it
like cutscenes.
Yeah, it was like it was cutscene, or it was scenes that they cut out. Some were used, some were not. So the one that I read for Jonathan was used, and it was the very, very first pilot episode where the mom comes home and he's trying to like find his little brother, and then there's a second scene where I was talking to the girl, and I was like, yeah, and things are so hard because I can't find my brother, and I'm so stressed at school.
I've always loved the license impressions of people.
How many people were in those
Cartman.
callbacks?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know. Well, like nationwide, you mean?
How many people were in the callbacks for Jonathan?
I don't know, because they did a national, like, they went all around the country. So I auditioned for them in Richmond, and at my audition, there was like 10 or 12 people that looked just like me, just in my room. Yes. But I'm sure they got like a couple hundred people for it, because it was an open call. But yeah, so then I did like my initial headshot screening, like your screen test, and then I submitted a monologue and some scenes through video, and then they invited me down in person, and that's when I got cut. But it's just kind of cool.
They wanted to look you in your eyes when you said you're not good enough.
That's kind of cool though. It's something cool you can like kind of put on your resume and be like, well, I auditioned for Stranger Things. Ever heard of it?
And I also love the show, so it was really cool to like see what they kept and like go back and look at all the sides, because I have the other characters' audition sides as well. So it was fun.
It kind of sucks that they're not coming back until like next year or the year after or something like that. Some Game of Thrones stuff. It's like, you guys have to wait 2 years.
That's what Netflix always does, though.
Yeah, they're weird. I don't even know how they have such big budgets for their productions. It's insane. Like multi-million-dollar
because
projects.
Pays like $10 a month, but they have like
but they just have so many people.
You have 1 million people paying $10 a month,
and especially when you can get like big names in there, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of their castings out of New York too, so it's always cool.
Maybe you will be on Stranger Things, just not as Jonathan.
Maybe.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe in another season they'll do more casting for another character.
Yeah, like 4 years from now or something like
they
that.
need another black guy. I got him.
You can be in Black Panther too.
Dude,
Black Panther was phenomenal.
Of course,
I still need to
It
see
was
it.
so. You haven't seen it yet?
I've been busy,
Dude.
man. I haven't had time.
Oh my gosh!
It just
Why?
passed $1 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
It's incredible.
I've heard great things about it.
It's so good. But the most interesting that has come to surface about Black Panther is that apparently white supremacists are now like taking to the movie.
Really?
And they're like, yo, we really support Black Panther because it's like they claim that it aligns with their views more of like what is it? Not nationalism, but I don't know what the term is. But like
Basically, you guys are over there.
Yeah, like
and we're over here.
isolationism and isoculturalism and stuff like that. Because like the couple scenes where like they say something about white people, and it's like that's not what that really means though. And they're just blowing it really out of proportion. But I'm like, I mean, good for the movie to get money, but like that's not what this movie is about.
Right.
They're saying like the thing that they support is the fact that like white people are over here and black people are over here. Okay.
But they're saying like that is what the
movie's
protagonist is doing. They're like, oh yeah, Wakanda and T'Challa, they're basically neo-Nazis.
T'Challa's the name of the main character.
Okay.
Yeah, T'Challa is the Black Panther.
And Wakanda is where it is.
Right.
They're like, yeah, T'Challa is like a supreme nationalist and is like racist to white people. It's like that's close, but no.
Well, for the two of you that have seen it, if you had to like rate it out of 10, what would you give it?
20.
Give a solid like 8.5, 9.
I thought it was gonna say like 4.
No, it was good.
2, it sucks.
It was good. I'm not like a super big superhero movie like type of guy, but I really enjoyed Black Panther.
I mean, of all the superhero movies I've seen, it's definitely my favorite.
Really?
I'd say it's
Either
definitely
that
a
or Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I was about to say the new
I heard
Spider-Man.
that was really good too.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. You
Awesome.
seen Homecoming, dude?
I'm like not really into that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I'm always like down to watch them, but I
You
like
never, like,
watching
go
the
out of your
Oscar
way?
movies and stuff like that.
Homecoming was really good, but Black Panther was excellent, and I just also love Chadwick Boseman. So.
Oh,
There
yeah.
were a lot of stars in that movie.
And what's his
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Legend. They started filming for Creed 2 a couple days ago.
Wow.
I told there was all like the Twitter fever over Michael B. Jordan, like females going crazy about him in his scene in Black Panther, and I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, I don't think he's that cute. Actually, I think he's ugly. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
I was like, I mean, like, I think he's a good looking dude.
Yeah.
He's like
And
a
she was
handsome
like,
guy.
she was like, nah, he's ugly. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
wow.
Maybe
Okay.
in that movie I can see it.
because he has all the
The freaking
Oh, the holes.
yeah.
I don't
his
know.
body looked like the back of a
Where you going, man?
a crunch bar.
He said the back of a. And I went, oh no. He said crunch bar.
No, his body looks like the back of a crunch bar. How it's all like poking out.
I would have gone with
Yeah.
bubble
Oh
wrap,
my
but
goodness.
Apparently, there's like some people have a fear of seeing a bunch of holes like that. It's some weird condition that's surprisingly common, but like people.
trypophobia or something like that.
Oh, you've
right?
heard of it?
Yeah, trypophobia. I want to
It's
say it's
something
like
like that.
trypophobia or something like
People
that.
on Twitter were going crazy about how it was like so hard to look at his costume for that movie, which is so weird. But yeah,
I was wondering if they if they actually like did that in makeup or was that CGI, you know?
it's probably CGI.
It'd be a lot if it was makeup.
I know, but I mean like
Yeah.
they've got the budget for it. So
No, it would
What-
time wise it would be
Right.
a lot. Not like money wise,
I don't know.
time wise.
I think it's I just thought that was interesting.
It's
thing
hard to say
think of.
unless
Yeah.
I guess
Who knows?
you're there and you
Right, because
know.
it looks really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because each individual thing is supposed to be like a brand or something. But I don't know.
Was it a brand or was it like?
It's branding, yeah.
Was it-
And he did it himself because like each
Each kill.
is
I
a
know.
brand, and he was a Navy SEAL and stuff, so he was peeling back
That's why he's killing
skulls.
Like an Inglorious Bastards, you scalp
Exactly.
them each time.
9. Oh yes.
Oh man, Black Panther is going to be in the new Marvel movie, right?
Yeah.
Of course he is.
Infinity War.
Infinity War, dude. Don't even get me started.
You see the new
man.
trailer?
Oh shoot, no, I didn't.
Came out
haven't either.
I
yesterday.
haven't seen that new trailer yet. I need to.
Well, anyway, kind of going back to, I mean, since we have a guest here, you said you don't really, or you would like to do more stage stuff, but you're not opposed to doing like on screen.
Yeah, well, I would even say the opposite. I feel like
Really?
our training will probably connect us most on stage, but I would love to move to LA one day and do more on camera stuff.
Is the training there, is it, because I know that there's kind of this whole stigma about body positivity, or I guess
body imaging,
negative body imaging
right
in the business. Is that like a big part of the curriculum even, or?
Well, they try to make it, they're so big on being like realistic for training us for New York, like what the current show business is like. So they usually, like all our performance exams and every time we use any material, they say it has to be a character that you can play right now. So like I once used a song from Shrek the Musical when I first got there, and my professor was like, "Are you big and ugly?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Then why would you use Shrek the Musical?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're right.
Dude, that's too good. My roommate played Shrek. And Shrek the Musical.
I know. I was kind of hurt. I was like, "Oh, dang."
Yikes.
But
you were hurt that you weren't big and ugly?
I mean, no, he just roasted me. That's all.
Not that Zach, if you're watching, not that you're big and ugly.
No, yeah, my professor's just a nut.
Is there actually like good music from Shrek the Musical?
There's a couple good songs. Yeah, the musical itself is weird and campy, but there's a couple good songs.
Didn't Brian Darcy James play Shrek? And he's not particularly big nor particularly.
No, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, our school's just big on
a realistic view.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know like a lot of people are against typecasting and like playing your type. So I think my school is less on like sticking to your type, but they try to encourage us to find like
kind of find your brand almost.
So it's more like
right.
It's more like finding the fit for you instead of making you into a fit.
Exactly. Like what are you good at, and then stress on that.
All right.
Type wise.
That's good.
So they found that I was like I like playing like the geeky, like weird, goofy leading males, and so they were like
wedding singer,
which is like wedding singer.
Yeah. Oh no!
Right? People.
I wouldn't say geeky. I would say more
like goofy.
Yeah.
Huh?
The
goofy.
Yeah. Just like that kind of stuff. Because I do less of like leading leading.
Like
man.
you wouldn't be Hercules.
Right. Exactly.
At least not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe if you like bulked up like The Rock, something like that.
Right.
Maybe.
So it just kind of depends. But yeah, first day of school when we got there, we did like a song monologue and a dance call for all the professors, and then we sat down with them individually, and they told us like everything they want us to work on. And most of my professors said they want me to go to the gym and like try and gain muscle.
Well, I remember you had showed me a picture of your first semester at school and like where you are now. It's insane.
It's insane, yeah.
You grew a bunch.
Well, I remember
appreciate
like first semester you were gone, maybe second semester, like you posted a picture of yourself. I think it was for Halloween. You had like a crop top on.
Yeah.
And like all the guys at Fairfax were like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. It's also in the culture, just a lot of like Broadway and like at our school a lot. There's like a culture of like exercising and being healthy.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something called Fit for Broadway. They have a podcast too, which I listen to a lot, and they're big on just. What'd you say?
I said traitor.
Yeah.
We're the only podcast you can listen to, Elijah.
No.
What other podcast do you listen to?
Regularly I listen to. If you guys know who Cody Ko is, he started on Vine. He
Insanely chill.
Yeah, insanely chill, and then I'm afraid to say it. Tiny Meat Gang is his other podcast with another. He works with this comedian named Noel, and they're as a duo. They're so funny. So I've been listening to them a lot.
I watched them on YouTube a couple of times.
So you prefer like the humorous kind of podcast?
I do, but I also listen to the Breakfast Club. If you guys know them, it's like hip hop and Charlemagne the God like roasts people, and that's cool. I listen to them like every day.
Ready to hear something that's gonna blow? I know Eddie knows. You're just gonna blow your mind. I was in a remake of the Breakfast Club at my church called the Communion Club.
Oh my
And
god!
I played
like the movie.
Yeah, and it was a movie, and I played the Bender, like the guy, like the
bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of it?
Not on me.
You
my
showed me
gosh.
that a long time ago.
That's
been
so funny.
That's something I had not thought of in a long time.
My church used to do parodies of like they always did like a Christmas song or something. Like they did. Do you guys remember Taylor Swift's "Blank Space"?
Mm-hmm.
It was like they did that, but they like Like they did like a parody of it with like the Elf on the Shelf thing, and it was like really creepy and stuff. It was so funny though.
Elf on the Shelf has always been creepy to me.
Yeah.
What is? I have a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the worst show? Not necessarily the worst show, but what is like the
worst experience?
Worst. Well, what's the worst thing you've ever put out there?
Worst
like
worst
product
piece.
that you weren't proud of, like show wise.
Okay.
Or TV show wise, or movie wise, or because I don't know what you've been in.
Right. I'll give you two answers. I'll give you my on-camera answer and my theater answer.
All right.
So this is actually bizarre. We did a musical called Legally Blonde when I was a sophomore in high school, and the cast was unreal. It had Chad Van, who goes to Juilliard, Ben Sherrington, who goes to Carnegie Mellon, Hank and I, who are at CCM. Ben Sherrington.
Ben Sherrington.
He's a musical theater major.
What year is he?
A sophomore. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's your age, bud.
Yeah.
It was just nuts. We had a lot of like people that were really in it, people that wanted to do it as a career, but just no one took it seriously because it was a summer show and we were all just like goofing around. And you know how once a show's about to go up, you're always like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be good, but then it always comes together and it's a great show. So this was the one show I've done where it really never came together.
Oh.
It was truly horrible.
Those are the best to watch, though. To watch, those are the best.
Train wrecks are so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Do you guys know,
That
you know
sounds
Ben
really
Cook?
morbid out of context.
It's so dark.
Just take like an audio, take a soundbite. Man, train wrecks are so much fun to watch.
Yikes. But yeah, it was just goofy.
And then on screen.
Oh, on screen I did a something for Fairfax County where we were trying to teach people how to use equipment for some like innovative like technology thing.
A training video.
Yeah, basically. And I had no idea what my thing was, and I didn't take the time to research it. And so I was like on camera reading off these lines. And ended up watching the final product.
Just tamp it with the thing and then you flip it.
It was horrible. I was like, and then you shine it in the window and you put the laser point on the frame. And people were like,
what was it?
Dude, some sort of thermometer. Like I can't believe I didn't get fired mid shoot.
Dude,
but yeah,
so
and we have a video recording of both of them. So
how much did you get paid for something like that? Like just something kind of simple tutorial
it depends.
video?
Usually like a couple $100, depending on the
Really?
Yeah, film. If you're in the union for film, and if it's like the pay is nuts. If you say like one line, they have to pay you like a minimum of like $1,000 per day.
The union being
Screen Actors
SAG and
Equity.
AFTRA.
Could you explain like equity and that kind of whole thing?
It's basically the same as like any type of workers union, but it has a lot to do with what you can audition for and making sure. Have you guys heard of like the crazy stories of vaudeville and like actors dying on stage and like
from just like overwork and stuff like
right? There's like a big stigma, especially in the early days, where actors were treated just horribly. So they made Actors Equity, and just make sure like you have to let your actors take breaks. They have to pay you a certain amount.
You have to have a couch in the green room. I know that.
Oh yeah, they have to give you like an equity cot if you're there for like a really long time. Just like things that look out for you. They help you get health insurance and stuff like that. And then
so
once
is it hard to get into equity?
It can be. It just depends, because sometimes it is really hard. People will get enough points, and then once you have like 50 points, you can get in, but you have to do like weeks. At 50, 1 week is 1 point. Okay. So you have to do like a year's worth of equity work, which is really hard.
Yes.
Is it also
But-
isn't
You
it
had a
true?
couple?
Oh, go ahead.
You said you had a couple points.
So the summer stock that I'm doing this summer is equity, and so they give us what's called an EMC contract, which means you have like X amount of points, and you join the membership candidate program, where you could be equity like in a little bit, or you could not pay your dues and not be equity. You're like in between. But like for instance, this theater said that if I want to work with them next summer, they're doing some musical that has like a lot of football players, so they're asking their boys. They said they give me my card next summer.
Oh wow.
So
Dang.
sometimes it's like sometimes people just give them out, and other times you kind of have to like, it takes like a long time. Just depends who you're working with and what the situation is.
Nice.
So yeah, but I might not get it because when I moved to New York, a lot of the national tours are non-equity, and I wouldn't want to. I would have like less jobs I could do, but
Oh, that's right. Because when you're in equity, you can't do jobs out of.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. You usually
is that like
can.
you can't, or is it like you usually like there are restrictions on what you can and can't do?
You would have to get like a different type of contract. It's called like an equity guest contract, and usually the theater has to pay more money for those or something like that. So they wouldn't do it.
I've seen shows with equity and non-equity actors.
Yeah. That's what my summer stock will be like. Because if I'm correct, they're having some people from New York play the older characters who will be like equity actors.
Nice.
But the college kids, like most of us, will be non-equity or EMC.
So will they be treating you like the equity actors?
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's an equity show, so it'll be all equity, like equity breaks and stuff like that. We don't get paid like them though, because I'm not in the union yet. But it's exciting.
What's the most you've gotten paid for a gig?
If you're allowed to say.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're right. I was laughing at Eddie, keeping us safe legally. Good job, bud.
It might be this summer stock gig.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, I think it's like $1,200 for the show, just to do one musical, which is nice.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
And they pay for your housing too, which is kind of cool. But
it's alright.
yeah, it'll be fun.
It's
I'm also
okay.
A lot of my friends from school. A couple of them are also doing it. So like my friend Hank and I, we're talking about rooming together. We don't know yet. There's just like a couple kids from my school, and it's gonna be nuts working with people that I already know, like over the summer in the middle of nowhere. Right, it's gonna be nuts.
Are you gonna be able to EMT while you're there?
I probably will choose not to, because we'll just be really busy.
And where'd you say it was again?
It's in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania, which is right outside Gettysburg.
Okay.
It's a
and
popular
for those of
place.
our listeners, what's the show called?
It's called Mamma Mia, and it is at
here we
Totem
go
Pole
again.
Playhouse.
Here we go again. Check out Elijah King and Mamma Mia this summer in Fayetteville or Fayetteville.
Something
Fayetteville.
like that.
Yeah.
Fayetteville.
Starts with an
Fayetteville.
F and it's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. But,
All right. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up this week.
Sweet.
What was it like? I mean, you're a pretty historic moment in this podcast. You're our first guest.
Man.
How was it for you?
It was great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's a great group of guys you got going here.
Oh,
Great
thanks.
city, yeah.
You're welcome back whenever.
Thank you.
We'll make
I
sure
appreciate
you're
it.
in a couple podcasts going forward.
appreciate it.
If you want, you can go ahead and what's your Twitter at? Like, if you want to plug anything
Yeah.
since you're here.
Yeah, I might as well. Just for the business reasons.
Sure.
Because we're famous.
It's raisin __ bran, but the raisin is missing an I after the A. So it's raisin __
Is that your Instagram or Twitter?
brand. Both.
Oh, that's why.
I'm just
I
joking.
know you told me the story, but I can't remember why.
Oh, it's
you
just my
have
favorite
Raisin-
cereal.
Raisin
And
Bran.
Raisin Bran was already taken, so I had to drop the I.
It's tragic.
Why not just pick just like Cocoa Pebbles or something?
Maybe because it's not my favorite cereal.
What are Cocoa Pebbles?
Yeah, what are Cocoa Pebbles?
Oh wait, no, never mind. I was thinking. Never
They're
mind.
like Fruity
You're right.
Pebbles, but the worst version.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I offend you?
We're all just like,
No, Cocoa Pebbles.
whoa.
I was thinking of Cocoa Puffs, and I don't know. I got
No,
sidetracked.
Cocoa
I feel you though.
Pebbles
I don't.
Cocoa Pebbles are
I haven't
the
Definitely
been a
better
while.
than Fruity Pebbles.
they're
Really?
the
You think so?
Flintstones ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely Frosted Flakes all the way. Let's be real.
Why did every cereal as a kid promote like petty theft? Like every single cereal
Tricks are
brand,
for kids.
the Tricks guy, the
The
Lucky
Lucky
Charms, like
Charms.
all of them, they were like, let's steal.
Wow. Oh, and that one. Remember when the
Hey.
sorry, Cinnamon Toast Crunch used to have the fingerprints on them, and they were trying to like find people, and
Yeah.
they would have
Oh
the
my God.
magnifying glass. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Well, Tony the Tiger would always just give them away. He was a nice guy. He wouldn't let them steal.
Exactly. It's
'cause he'd
all
just
about
be like,
the
hey,
Frosted
you know what?
Flakes.
Here are your Frosted
Yeah,
Flakes.
but he was also a
Interesting.
tiger and hunted down like child athletes, and I thought that was kind of weird.
What do you mean? He hunted them down to give them good nutrition
Yeah.
with his cereal.
All right.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up.
On that note,
On that note,
Vote for your favorite cereal in the comments below.
now we
make
got to
sure
put
to,
a poll in there.
Oh, well, we should say that in case you're listening to us, we are recording this podcast on video. It should be
Yeah.
up on YouTube.
Say hello to the camera. Say hello to this camera back here.
So you should be able to, in the upcoming days, search Wittiots on YouTube, same spelling, and you should be able to see this and a page, hopefully, that will have.
Sounds
So,
good. to
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
nice.
For Eddie, Elijah, Darian, and myself,
Why's the black guy last? I'm just kidding. Go
Whoa.
ahead.
I was last.
But you're talking, so of course you would be last. Never mind. Go ahead. Do your closer.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.